What up, everyone? This is Shireen Simon, and this is another episode of Voices and Vibes. Now, I've recorded this intro multiple times. I'm really cold and it has me yawning. I'm going to try not to re record this again, and we're going to keep it pushing. I wanted to talk about a few messages that have kind of come to mind, but I may not remember them all. Oh, and I just see the remote control I was looking for. Whatever. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about is not ruling yourself out. Okay, so last week we worked on launching the second location, and it's like a partnership that we've curated with another location on the other side of the city, so we can offer great podcasting services on both sides of the city. Very, very exciting. Somebody who came into the spot that I've worked with in the past came up to me and asked me if they've seen some messages from them. Like, did you see the messages I sent you about doing XYZ? And I'm like, I didn't see any messages. And then they started going in their phone. Hold on, I got a yawn. I'm so sorry. Oh, excuse me. I don't know if I'm tired or just cold, and I think I'm just cold. Anyhow, they were inviting me to do something in a week. And I had done it with them in the past, but they also mentioned a couple of months ago that they developed this partnership, with somebody. And I instantly thought, like, good for them, but, oh, they don't need me anymore. Right? Which is fine, because because you do something with somebody once does not mean you have to continuously do things with them, right? There's growth, there's pivots, there's changes, right? The same thing as pivots. But I nearly ruled myself out. I knew something was coming up. I was looking at my roadmap, and I did not think about it at all. I don't know. I got a yawn again. I might be a little tired. I think it's just the cold, though. Yeah, but they invited me to go out and do something with them again that I've done in the past. And what really, like, I was shocked. I was shocked because, your first year of doing business, you're learning. So you don't do everything great. You definitely don't do everything perfect. And I'm very far from perfect. And I will do things. I'll have an idea and I'll go out and do them. And then I might second guess what I did, even though it might be great. That's crazy, right? I don't know if it's crazy. I don't know if other people are doing it, but I might second guess how great something is that I would have done. And it might look good looking in like other people. But for myself, I guess it's just being hard on yourself after you've completed something. And maybe because you know how you could have done it better. And I think that's probably what it is. And so I know how I could have done things better, because, you look at where your growth is, or the mistakes you've done, or the things you didn't complete, or the things that are still on the to-do list, or the things that you did complete that you would have preferred to do it differently, better, just nitpicking. But some of it is just like small truths, right? And it's you being honest with yourself. And so I know what those things are. As I've said in the past, I'm someone's villain in someone's story. But because of that, I had mentally ruled myself out. But I didn't actually think it was a bad thing. I just thought it means to move on to like the next thing, other things that I want to focus on. Not every single thing I did last year, I need to do this year. So I ruled it out. And you know what? I am glad that this is the conversation I'm having, because that topic is coming up more and more for me. Like, just because I did certain things last year does not mean I want to do it this year, does not mean I need to do it this year, does not mean it's going to make an impact if I do or if I don't. So I find myself like constantly questioning, do I even want to do this? Like, not this as a business. Do I want to do a specific activity? It's funny because I know of some of the new things that I want to do, and I've decided to be selective on the things that I invest my time in when I look at what is going to be the ROI. But as a new business owner, you still need to be very visible. And I might sound like I'm speaking in some sort of cryptic method because I'm not going into details, but I just wasn't sure. Well, one, I ruled myself out. And two, when it comes to something quite similar, but for somebody else, I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do it. And I was having this conversation even yesterday with a friend, and they were like, well, how have you been getting people in the studio? Like, how are your people coming to you? And it is some of the activities that I did that I'm starting to think, I don't know if I want to do it. And I think it might not necessarily be that I don't want to do it. I think it's just I don't want to do it alone. I am looking forward to building a team because I know how much work it takes for just me to do things. And even though I enjoy some of the activity, I might enjoy a lot of the activity. I'm just really starting to question if it's the best use of my time, or how I do it. Is that the best use of my time? Like, should I be on the forefront doing interviews? And I'm not talking about like my podcast or interviewing people on a podcast. I'm just talking about like, do I do live interviews at events? Is that how I want to be seen? Or is it great because that's how I'm seen? Or do I want to be telling people why they should get in the studio and do things? And it's really, I don't know if it sounds small to you, but it's a little puzzling to me, right? Because I can be speaking to someone, not interviewing, and just getting to understand them a bit better and instantly coming up with strategies and solutions on what they can do in the studio so that they can become clients, as opposed to me interviewing people and saying, hey, how's it going? But do they both have the same effect on the forefront, right? Like, to the person looking in, is it the same thing? Is it still marketing? And I guess that's where I'm kind of puzzled. But I go back to the first part of this talk where I say, do not rule yourself out. Now, a couple of months ago when the person, so like I said, somebody invited me to do something for next week, and I'm going to do it. I need to move things around, but I'm going to do it, and it is interviewing. But I think it's like where. And maybe that's why I'm so open to it. But like I said, two things. It's the doing the work by yourself, like building out a team. And I'm so fortunate, like, because I've done a couple of things, the team is coming together. The team is coming together, and that team is so needed. But I paused there because I was going to go into like not ruling yourself out, but I just realized that the activity is the same thing I'm questioning, and I'm up for it. So what is the difference? Anyhow, I don't want to ramble and go in circles and continue to speak in this cryptic tone that only I know of what I'm talking about. But I do want to say that if you find yourself in a position where um, you're already shutting down the thought of doing something, but that you might have done with somebody else, and you're shutting it down because you think that they've ruled you out. You might be projecting that rule out on your own. You'll be surprised what you'll be surprised at people, how people believe you are great when you don't even see it. So that's the second message. That was the second message. Okay. So I don't even know if I said that well, but I'm going to say it again. But I'm going to say it a little differently. Sometimes people see your greatness even when you don't see it. Sometimes people can see the greatness in you even when you cannot see it in yourself. Yeah. And I guess that does still go back to like confidence, right? And it goes back to like me saying that, wait, did I say it out loud? I don't even know. Sometimes I do things and people think it looks good and I'm just like critiquing it left, right, and center. But somebody else thinks that it actually was really good. So one, don't rule yourself out before your time. If you find yourself in that position, I don't know if I've even completed that message, but if you find yourself ruling yourself out because you are assuming that someone doesn't want to do something with you, ask a question. I had thought about asking the same person, hey, does this mean you still want to do this? But I thought, why would I even ask that? Like, it's silly. And I've seen some messages come through, but nothing was very specific that pertained to me. Like it was about like participating in things, but not me specifically. It was a broad message, right? I could have cleared that up. You know what? Even if I didn't ask a question, even if you don't ask a question, I think the underlying message here is just not to make assumptions and project a negative end, like a negative point of view. Or it doesn't have to be a negative point of view, just not to rule yourself out of something before it even begins. Whew, it just took me like under 20 minutes to say that. So that's one. I gotta see if the red light's on. I can't even see. Okay, it's on. Okay, good. The second thing was, what was that second thing that I just said? I'm still here. I'm just thinking. I forgot what it was. Maybe it'll come back to me. It was not ruling something out and not making it like that assumption. I can't remember. I might have to play it back. The next thing I did want to talk about, though, or the third thing, because I can't remember the second thing, is respect the small, even if what you produced is small, right? And I say this because in 2023, I put on my first event, okay? And it was the art of sensuality and intimacy. I'm so happy to do that. It was a live podcast event, and I had a panel, and we're just going to talk about the art of intimacy and sensuality. Now, I had this event in March the 26th, I think it was, to be exact. And I couldn't do it in February because I had started marketing too late and I needed to secure a location. So I did this like speakeasy event in the West End, and it was like downstairs. It was very cool. And it was cold. But besides that, they forgot to close the back door. But besides that, it was such an amazing, intimate event. I had like 3 people on the panelists. an intimacy. I don't remember if she's an intimacy coach. I don't know if she's still doing it. She moved out of the province. So any Americans listening, it's basically like moving out of the state, but I'm in Canada, so she moved out of the province to another province. And then there was an author who's still here, as well as a practitioner, right? And the practitioner also had a product, and she's still here. And then myself as a host. And let me tell you, that weekend, my friends were going to the New Edition concert in the States. So nobody was around to support me. And I have cousins and a sister and everything. And none of my brothers live in the same province, but like no family came. No family supported me, except for my kids. And my kids worked the event. And I had hired guys to record the production of it, and I was the host. Ooh, and let me tell you, it is not easy to sit on the panel, be the host, and tell your kids, who are grown adults, get the food from the kitchen and start serving the appetizers. And I wanted like waiters, so I didn't want buffet style. Lord, I should have had buffet style. I got the food ordered too early, so like delivered too early. So I think by the time they had to warm it up and then take it out, and we didn't warm it up properly. Oh my goodness, hot mess. And I don't know why I didn't have family support. Maybe I wasn't talking to my sister. I don't know, probably. That happens. You got like sibling rivalry or whatever. I don't even know if you'd call it that, but because she would have been great when it comes to the food part. But yeah, it was just my first event ever, and I've never done one since. And we curated. I always say we. It is I, but I always like to say we. Well, no, because with my panelists, it was definitely a we, but we curated this very intimate, safe space for people to talk about their relationships and to talk about being sensual and intimate. And let me tell you, the night before, around 2:00 in the morning, I was packing gift bags for attendees. I had been promoting this. I think I had some ads out. I had done video to promote this. I had taken recordings of people and posted these videos to promote this event. And I had a panic attack. It was just so overwhelming, and this was all out of pocket, and I didn't make any money. But we had people come out, we had people buy tickets, but I mean, I invested more than I made. But that happens when you curate your first event, and not everyone's first event is like that, but mine was. We even had performers, because one of the guys that I had hired to do the production, one of the guys was a singer, and so he even brought out some of his singer friends, and they started the show with like different songs. They got to perform, and so it was interesting. It was a great night. They were great performances, but I was eager to get it started, and I did not know, because we had like things planned to do, but I did not know that I could stop the event and give everybody a break so that they can go to the bar and buy some more drinks. I didn't know to say, let's take an intermission, and when we come back, we're going to do these activities. And I think it was just like nerves. Before that show started, I had another panic attack, like a full breakdown. Like I'm crying hysterically, just feeling like this is not going to be good. Or is this going to be good? Anyways, we had a great event. And when I was done, I shut down for probably about 3 months, because I was so physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted. So I did like maybe one post to thank everybody, but I couldn't do more. And then I heard great reviews, like how great the event was, but I really couldn't tell if I did a good job, which is crazy. I have a confession. Last night was the very first time I opened the footage, and I didn't watch it, but I did listen to the audio. For the past couple of months, I have been thinking that I'm going to show some of these clips from something from 2023. I want to show what it's like to put on a live event and kind of talk about it. And it's a live podcast event, but like, it was so good, but I just didn't even see it, even though I heard it was so good. And in December, like last year, I was filming the production at Professional House. What am I saying? I cannot speak. Last year in December, the beginning of December the 1st to be exactly 2 months ago, 2 months and a day ago, I filmed the production of Seasoned Dialogue in Toronto. It was an intimate live podcast event, and I was on the production side. And I filmed that event, the podcast, not the event, the podcast. I filmed that podcast, and it was beautiful, and it was intimate, and people cried and held hands. And you know what? I seen it then. I seen it at that moment. I seen it at the end of that event. I seen the beauty of intimacy. I actually seen the art of intimacy. I couldn't even see it when I was in the midst of it. I'm not talking about the midst of the one in December, the midst of my own. But I was able to see it at the end of the one that I was filming. Sometimes we don't see our own greatness. I had someone in the studio today. I had multiple people in the studio today, but I had someone, actually both ladies today, both my clients today, you know, they kind of like sang my praises, and they said they can see my gift. And I have other clients that have said this to me, and they can see a greatness in me that I don't always see. Like, I know I'm creative, and I know I have these great ideas. I've had ideas holding on to that I want to execute, and I'm completely, totally, 100, 1000% in the position to execute them right now. And sometimes I just get in my head and I get all nervous, and I don't even know if I play small, but I'm not seeing my greatness. And I don't want anyone to have to feel that way. It's like having that panic attack again that I didn't even know I could have, that I never experienced, that held me almost hostage, that held me crying on my living room floor as I was packing like 200 bags by myself. And my daughter came in the living room, and she's like, "Why didn't you ask for help?" And I did. And I was like, I did. And I didn't get it. So, you know, at that point, they came in, her boyfriend, and I think my son, and they started helping me. And I just feel like I do a lot by myself. And then when I look back, I don't know if I did it good or not, or I think of all the things that I could fix, or sometimes we're too hard on ourselves. So in December, when I looked back at Seasoned Dialogue, at Professional House, I thought, oh, this was a beautiful event. And when I was editing, I could just see it. You know, Lisa Marie Levitt, her messaging was, it just touched the heart. When I think about how everybody was holding hands and crying and just feeling, and you don't have to be crying, but just feeling, it's the emotions that came up. Intimate is such a beautiful thing. And sharing that intimacy and feeling vulnerable and feeling like you can be yourself and feeling safe to express yourself. I curated the exact same thing just 2 years ago. And imagine, I was so scared of myself, I could not even look at my work. Does that make any sense? Could you be so scared of yourself you cannot look at your work? That doesn't make any sense. When you finish something, you are supposed to feel proud and just feel joy. And that's being present and afterwards, right? You invest in yourself and you believe in yourself, and then you don't. Or you're scared. I don't want to feel so scared that I panic. That was a scary feeling. But when I think about the topics that we discussed, there were different things. I listened to that last night. I'm going to play a couple of clips in this episode. I listened to it last night, and there were gems being dropped. I was dropping gems. The ladies on the panel were dropping gems. We were talking about feeling comfortable with your sexuality, feeling comfortable with who you are, making this decision, and just doing what you want as long as you're safe with your body. Oh my God. So good. So good. What was I scared of? I am not the type to be scared about certain things, to talk about certain things. It's not a shame thing or anything like that. You have to see your greatness. I took so long to listen to my own event because I was scared of my greatness. Am I scared of my greatness? This is the beginning of another year. And it doesn't matter if it's the beginning of another year, the beginning of another week, the beginning of a new hour. There is no need to be scared of your greatness. Sometimes people see the greatness in you before you see it in yourself. But I talked about this in the last episode. You need to believe in yourself like you've never believed in yourself before. So you have to see your greatness. Shireen, I'm looking at you. This is me talking to me right now. I am looking at you, Miss Shireen. See your greatness, baby, because it's out here. You are great. Express yourself and do everything you need to do, everything you want to do for yourself. Feel proud of your work. God wants you to express your creativity. There's a part of me, I have another confession. There's a part of me that's like a little scared of posting on LinkedIn. Why? Because I've been in like a tech space for 20 years that this pivot is so different. Will I be accepted? How will people look at me? Will they judge me? What does it matter? I usually don't even care. So what am I scared of? Are there clients on there that are just waiting for me? I once heard someone say, like, your gift is not your gift. Your gift is to be shared. So when we're over here playing scared and we're scared of our own success, we're scared of expressing ourselves, we're panicking. Someone is not getting what they need that we have in our back pocket. Someone doesn't get to experience that greatness. Imagine if I needed someone's help today and they don't express it. It's not out there. I can't find it. Right now I need some help. Right now I need like a VA and some other help. But if someone is not out there expressing that they can do all these great things, I won't know that they can do it. I won't find that person. If I don't get outside and show this beautiful face of mine, express this voice, lift this voice, amplify this voice, I sit behind the camera. I'm hiding behind my own cameras. It does not make any sense. I'm actually ruling myself out that way. And there's a little tie-in I didn't see coming. I'm literally ruling myself out that way. And it cannot happen because, it is the worst feeling to not do something or not say something that you've wanted to say. I have this quote that I have written on multiple whiteboards. And it says, the chances that you do not take in life are the things that you will regret. My dear, I don't want to regret nothing. I don't want to regret anything. You might regret a few things, but I want to go out and experience. I want to be experienced. I want people to be like, that was cool. That was nice. How did she come back from that? What did she do? So this is going to be a declaration to myself. It is time to step up and step forward. It is time to stop ruling yourself out. It's time. It is time to stop panicking. It is time to stop being scared. It is time to accept your greatness. I'm actually speaking to myself right now. And if you are playing small or not accepting your greatness, speak to yourself as well. So sure, I can speak to you too. But I want to speak to me first. Shireen Simon, it is time to accept your greatness. It is time to show up and show out. I said I was going to do this. I have draft emails. Draft emails for someone, for multiple people. I just need to hit send. So it's time to show up for myself. And if you are nodding while you listen to this, it is time to show up for you. It is time to see and accept your greatness. All right, I'm still cold. Imagine I'm under these blankets and I'm still cold. And I did a better job looking at the camera this time. The television's behind, so I look up every once in a while, but I think I did a better job this time. All right, so that is my message. That's what I want to share. I don't know what that middle one was, but I'll hear it when I replay this while I edit. But I will play parts of the art of sensuality at the end of this. And stay tuned because we are in February. And I will definitely share and drop some of that show. And I'm actually contemplating dropping the entire show as a whole episode, maybe like a bonus episode, because last month I did not record nearly, and I recorded once. I actually recorded like other things, but they didn't get out because I'm so busy. But I'm not going to even say that anymore. I'm not going to claim busy. I'm just going to do. Just do. Be great. Experience. And there's so much going on right now that can easily drain your energy because it impacts us all. But as I said on the last, as I said on the last Herbal Tea Thursday, we got to find a way to kind of like block out the noise and not let that noise be a distraction to the things that we need to achieve, even though they will impact us. So there's no ignorance here. Those things, like, I feel it for those directly impacted and those indirectly impacted. Like, it's crazy. It's all heavy. Don't let that be a distraction from what the things that you're trying to achieve, babes. Just go out there and be great. All right, I am going to end it here. You have a wonderful evening or a wonderful day. Create something magical today. Create something magical, okay? And accept your greatness. All right, have a wonderful evening or day. It's night here, but take care. Talk soon.
Hello, good evening. Can you guys hear me? Woo, thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming out. Apologize for the delay. We're still. I appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you so much. This is my first event, so. My name is Shireen Simon, and this is a part of my business, Black Print. And this is a live taping, so you see all the cameras, you see the lights, a live taping of Voices and Vibes. And we are talking about the art of sensuality. I think I'm going to start by just asking, what is the definition of intimacy? What is the definition of sensuality?
Intimacy, I heard it broken down as into me, I see.
You got
okay.
You're just starting deep.
Notes. Someone taking notes.
Yes, one more time.
Say it with your chest, LA.
Yes. Come on now.
So it was broken down for me to mean into me, I see. And when you think about intimacy, you often will think about you and another.
Right.
But you and another person can only create that level of intimacy when you have it with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so that's how I define that.
Absolutely. That's amazing. That is amazing. Does any other ladies, do you want to chime in, add to that?
Yes. For me, when I think about intimacy and how intimacy expresses itself, I consider intimacy that very breath within your body. So it's the connection that you have with yourself. It's the connection that you have with the world around you, the people you meet, the places that you go, the things that you experience. That is intimacy. So it's the thing that keeps you here grounded to the earth, but also helps you move and navigate the world. So intimacy really is that connection piece that helps you be you. Right. So when we have intimacy within ourselves, life is richer, life is fuller, because you know yourself. As you said, it's into me, I see, right? So it's this.
It's inside.
It's inside, 100%.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was going to ask what is sensuality, but now I'm more curious about what's the difference between intimacy and sensuality?
I define sensuality as really the senses. Right. So sensuality is expressed through the senses, so all of your senses. And sensuality is how you can choose to embody the world. So you can choose to show up in the world in a sensual way.
Right.
You can choose to tap into sensuality. You can choose these things. But it's really how your senses engage in the world. Okay. So how do you see things, feel things, smell things, taste things? Right. How do you experience the rest of the world, and how do people experience you? Right. So that's all sensuality for me. And it could be various things, right? We get to define what sensuality is for us. I think that's the beautiful thing. There is no one definition.
Right.
You define sensuality. My definition of sensuality, will be different from everybody else's.
Right.
Because we express it how we want to express it.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that we often think that we know ourselves. We think that we are self-aware until somebody presents something that was in our blind spot, and then you engage with it in a completely different way. Yeah. And in terms of having one, even when you are in a great place, I liken that to having a trainer. There's so much more that you can do and accomplish when you have a physical trainer versus going and doing like a P90X in your own house by yourself. Sure. You can be taken to another level that maybe you're like, I feel great, I look great. And then when you get that experience of working with someone, you can see how it can really fine-tune and take you to another level. And you won't know that because, like Rashida said, you don't know what you don't know. So at least try and then go from there.
Yeah. And just because you're being authentic does not mean that you're not being kind, right?
Well, you're being kind to yourself.
Yeah, you're being kind to yourself, but I don't think that I need to hurt someone for me to be authentic to myself, for me to be truthful to myself, right? So I'm going to be mindful of how I say things. Also, I don't want that karma. I'm not going to lie. I don't want that shit to come back and hit me, right?
And no is a full sentence.
Yeah, no is a full sentence.
Right.
No is a full sentence, right? So you can say things like, yeah, I'm not feeling this anymore, and I actually don't think that we need to be friends. And that was said respectfully. Mm-hmm. It was said kind, and it was authentic to me, right?
And you don't have to explain yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't want to.
Not at all. Yeah.